Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta, and on this one I'll compare 300 watt ENGL tube amps, POWERBALL 100, POWERBALL 2 and Rich BLACKMORE Signature 100. They all have 6L6 GC power tubes and ECC83 preamp tubes. I wrote a song for this video, basic riffing. The first is based on a E string, the second F sharp, and the third one, which I'm soloing a bit, is based on A. So a little bit different variations. And I will switch the amps with my G-Lab switcher, which is hooked to the KHE amp switcher. And then the signal goes to serve reactive load, where I'm using my signature Valovirtuo's impulse response, which is based on one of my favorite cabinet speaker microphone combinations that I've used in the studio many times. Fantastic. And then it goes to the Steinberg audio interface, and I'm recording these two Cubase. So let's check out the song. First, you'll hear how they differ, and then I'll discuss and show some more examples. And I will also compare them to my Peavey 5150 black leather, which has 6L6 tubes also, and JJ ECC83S preamp tubes, and to my Marshall JCM2000 TSL, which has EL34s and JJ ECC83S and ENGL ECC83 preamp tubes. All right. Alright, that was the song, and I forgot to mention that I used JH's Bonsai tube screamer overdrive in front with all the amps. It's on the TS9 mode, probably you saw the picture, and the levels were maxed, the gain 0 and the tone around 3 o'clock. I just feel like to use overdrive basically always when I'm looking for this tight, chunky rock metal tone. Again, it's personal preferences. Some people prefer especially ENGL amps without, but I prefer them with TS9, and Marshalls I prefer with Bus ST1. The TS9 or TS808, whatever works a little bit better with ENGLs, in my opinion. The JHS is a great tube screamer overdrive. There's 9 different overdrives in one. And then there's also Bass OD1, which isn't a tube screamer, but yeah. So let me switch back and forth so you hear the sounds without the backing tracks. First the Fireball, and I have the lead channel. The gain is pretty much down because this has insane amount of gain. So without TS it sounds like this. And with TS Powerball without. Blackmore. As you hear, they sound a little bit different. And you may ask, why overdrive? Why not just dial more gain? I feel that when you dial lots of gain from the amp, no matter the amp, it just becomes a little bit loose and fuzzy, and I don't get the feeling I want. I think my sound doesn't come through, because I mean it's here. You know, your sound or my sound or sound in general, these just amplify what is feed into them. You know, how you play, what's your sound, what's your tone. Do you play with balls or not? So that's why the overdrive, I feel more connected with the amp with an overdrive, because it pushes, in case of TS9 and SD1, a mid-boosted signal, so it's really tight and cuts the lows a bit. So you heard Fireball 100. This is my favorite of these. If you've seen my videos, I've done separate videos of these where I compare them to my all-time favorite amp, my old JCM800 203 with 6550 power tubes from 1984. And this was really close. I like this. This is, I think, the most open and natural, and yeah, I just connect with this amp. This has a lot of features, more modern sounding, great amp, really good sound. You know, there's so many things you can do with this, but I like the Fireball more. And then the Blackmore, it's kind of in the same ballpark than the Fireball, but this really harsh, like high end, and I dialed the presence and treble a lot less than on the others, but it was still there, and if I dialed them too much back, it become like it's dark and muddy sounding. It's a great amp, good amp, but I feel there's this high thing that I don't like that much. The Fireball is quite the same, but it doesn't have that. So yeah, Fireball is my favorite. And then let's compare these to these couple of other amps I've used many years. So what I'm gonna do is, they all have now TS9 in front, so I'm switching here. So I'm just gonna compare first Fireball and the GS100. like here, Marshall has that mid-range, and I've said this before, but when you play alone, Marshalls can be a little bit like, wow, but in the mix they just sound so big and open. That's why I love Marshalls. Okay, then let's compare it to Powerball. Powerball first. And yeah, I'm using the grunt channel on the Marshall, and the gain channel, lead gain 3 with this one. So I'm kind of the sounds I've dialed with these are kind of like how I would use them, like this basic overdriven heavy tone that I can boost with overdrive even more aggressive, and then, you know, when I take the OD off and roll down the volume, it's nice rock tone. Like, let me show with the Powerball. So live, I only use one channel, always. I just dial one good basic sound, and the rest is up to me. Volume, how I play, you know, so one channel and that's it. In the studio, I usually use different amp for cleans. When I just finished mixing and mastering my solo album, I basically used this. With overdrive, without, and the clean channel, clean sounds, there's a few I use the GSL, but other than that, it's up to me. Okay. Then the Blackmore signature compared to GSL. Yeah, conclusion, Marshall's has definitely more mids. I mean, I could scoop this. But I just like the mids that Marshalls have. Very versatile amp, that too indeed. Okay, and then let's compare these to 5150. I need to switch the plus 6 dB switch on when I'm using the 5150, because the way I dial the amps, I found the sweet spots on every console, including master volume. So just where there's just the right amount of power to sag, saturation. And I feel that when I dial the 5150 as loud as these master are around noon on all of these. This one is 3, but if I turn this around noon, so it's approximately the same volume, it's just too much power stuff. So I think the sweet spot with 5150s, at least with this one, is around 3. So it's a little bit quieter, so I'm gonna switch that back and forth. And yes, I just got this for maintenance, and this has been modded. There's the choke mode that was there before, and now Eric from Musics, where I borrowed this app, Great Swiss Store, he did the bias mod, because you probably know 5150 is cold biased, so you can basically throw any tubes in there. It's practical, but it's a bit harsh sounding, really. It doesn't. So now it's bias modded and the tubes run pretty hot, and I must say that it's more pleasant to play. I mean, the gain isn't that aggressive, because before I had it around 2, now it's 3. It's just I don't know, more organic feeling and sounding, and it isn't as like hard, you know, kind of. So yeah, great improvement what Eric did. So Fireball with GS9, 5150 with GS9. Quite different sound. The 5150 feels like it's a little bit like far away. It's I really like this sound, but damn, Fireball is really good. Kind of in the same ballpark, I must say, especially when both have the 606 tubes and this has the JJ ECC83 and this has ENGLs, which I think they're basically the same tube. ENGL has just printed their logo on that. Cool. Then the Powerball and 5150. It has this poof. I cut it a little bit of the nits because it's I don't know, was starting to little poof. And then the Blackmore. Yeah, it's definitely Eddie Van Halen design because it's a lot more brown. Okay, then, and the guitar, yeah, this is my old Tokai from early 2000s, made in Japan. No idea about the model. Many people have asked, but it's a Japan-made Tokai. They're all really good. The pickups are a reason why I chose this, because this has active EMGs, EMG 5766, but as you can see, probably the bobbins. So this is kind of like a hybrid between actives and passives. So the character is very much PAF-like, this, and a little bit more rounder, well, a little bit more like passive high output pickups, like kind of like the Duncan Custom I have on the ESP Phoenix. So you get a kind of overall idea, like how this would sound with, you know, passive and active pickups. Well, these are kind of like best of both worlds, in my opinion. Okay, then let's change to clean channels on all amps, like this. Clean, clean, clean. Okay, first GS off, chorus. I'm gonna use chorus, I like to use that. So the POWERBALL. It's nice. I have quite not that much gain, and it's still like. So if you saw my video, so this channel is actually quite a bit like plexi. When you open your guitar's volume to full, increase the gain a bit, it's almost like really close to plexi sounding. So with this one, kind of have to dial the volume back a bit. And it's really nice. Okay, POWERBALL. Again, I've dialed the sound, like, to me, like the ideal sound, the best, where the sweet spots are, how these amps, you know, the characteristic of the amp, so you could hear. Okay, so that was a bit darker than Fireball. Then BLACKMORE. So this is pretty much the same than the Fireball, so you can't really get it to clean, at least with these pickups, unless you turn down the volume. Yeah, I guess maybe with the single coils and Strat, but I must say that the Fireball clean is my favorite. It's really close to TSL clean. that's just so great, that clean channel. Like I said, I use it for a couple of cleans, my forthcoming solo album. That channel alone is worth buying the amp, in my opinion. But this is really close. That nice spark. So, yeah. EVH clean, well, I guess we all know how that sounds. That isn't much of a... So, but I think, because this channel is actually a lot better when you use it just like, you know, Marshall, like Plexi. So I guess, because, I mean, Eddie didn't really have a clean sound. It was kind of this, the edge of breakup sound. So I think this channel is, you know, he meant for to use like that, like old Marshall. So you don't really, it's not meant to be used as clean, but this just like a little bit, you know, overdriven sound. Great amps, all of them. I guess it is quite obvious now what's my favorite. A Fireball. Good and open sounding, can get anything from clean to Plexi kind of style to really high gain distortion. And it works also with the SD1, like I showed on the video about that. This one is the most like a modern, quite compressed. The high gain sounds, especially the gain channels 3 and 4. The crunch is kind of like, it's a little bit in that Plexi 800 territory, and that's actually pretty good for like rock and roll. I didn't use it now because so many things you can do with this. This video will be long as, you know. So, most modern, the most compressed. BLACKMORE, I think it's in between. It's a bit more compressed than this one. I feel like it's a little bit, and it has that really, like this high thing, which I guess in a mix, I mean, you heard, it brings the sound more forward. But I like this more. This is the best. And the GSL, it's one of the most, I guess, underrated amps. But this is really good, clean sound. And the O-driven sounds are, you know, crunch channel is kind of like 800, not quite, but quite close. And the lead channel is a bit like, you know, POWERBALL, kind of this. It's a bit more compressed, and so, yeah. Okay, conclusion. Great amps. It's just a, I think, matter of personal opinions, because to be honest, I don't think there is such a thing as bad gear. It just depends how you use it, what you can do with it, because the sound is really in your hands. What you play, how to play. Pickups, they just pick it up. Pedals, overdrive, they just boost it. Amplifiers, they just amplify it. Speakers, cabinets, impulse responses, they make it listenable, audible. But at the end of the day, it's here. I just love to play with the 800, how it makes me feel. It's just, but At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. The most important thing for a great sound is in the mirror. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this, thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and so on. Until next time, take care, bye.